welcome to Cosplay Stitch and Seam. I'm Pannon.
I'm V-Fire.
And I'm David.
Hooray!
Yay!
See, now I have to say the hooray. It's
yeah,
just,
you're stuck. It's
you know,
the law now.
It's not part of the opening.
It's part of it. Good. So, welcome, listeners. If you would like to reach out to us, we have a lot of ways to do that. You can hit up our email, which is cosplaystitchandsseam@gmail.com,
Or you can go to our website, cosplaystitchandsseam.com, and fill out the googly Google form, or
go to our Facebook page and send us your messages there, or join our Work in Progress Wednesdays in the awesome community that we have there. If you're not a big fan of Facebook, join just for a few moments to join our Discord that we share a link to every now and again. I'm a little overdue, so just keep an eye out for it. And also, we share that on our Twitter. We have a whole channel just for cosplay horror stories, or you can just join our awesome community and hear what everyone else is working on. It's a fantastic group. Anytime that I need a little bit of support, like, hey, I don't know if I'm doing this right, immediately I can get some extra praise or advice. It's fantastic.
I love it. I do.
While you're on the internet, if you want to help out the show, there are so many different ways that you can do it. You can join the sharing club. I just made this up. It's the club where you share the podcast with a friend of yours.
Nice.
Not because my verbal dyslexia. No, not at all. So just share the podcast with a friend, or you can leave us a review on Apple Podcast, on Audible, on Podchaser, wherever they let you, and we will give you a shout out on the show. Or if you want to help out the show and you've got a couple of bucks to kick around, we have a Ko-fi, K-O-F-I, Cosplay Stitch, or Patreon, patreon.com/Cosplay Stitch. For $3 a month, you get a shout out on the show, and for $5 a month, you join the Cosplay Chronicle.
Chronicle.
We just had an episode where everybody was in-house, and it was fantastic. The energy was palpable. It was great.
So fun. It was so much fun.
Stuff on fire.
You did. And you might have a new mount. I don't know.
Maybe.
We'll see.
I might be a new meal for the mount. I don't know.
When's our next stream, David?
It will be July 11th. We're taking the 4th off because, you know, America and fireworks and freedom.
Blow stuff up.
Yeah. So we'll be gaming the 11th.
Great. Good. Also,
sorry, I was a little more enthusiastic for blowing stuff up than I meant to be.
We've got our Twitch stream coming up on the 19th, don't we? Mercedes, did you have some details for us on that?
Yes, on the 19th, we will be doing some awesome makeup with Fox Beauty. So Fox is going to be joining us. I'm really excited for this. We're just going to be doing some makeup, figuring out, like, if you have a feminine face, how can you make it more masculine, and vice versa, and all around, and however the heck we want to do that.
Nice.
I am very excited for it, and yeah.
And that's June 19th at 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, right?
Yep, there we go.
Awesome. We also have our new community project, which we are taking your fanfic submissions for podfic readings. Those are going to be due at the end of the month, June 30th. Remember to keep them under 5,000 words. And you can also request whoever you'd like to read it. And we'll be doing that as a mini birthday celebration, since all three of our birthdays are within just a few days of each other. So very excited. Remember,
PG-13.
Oh, right. Keep the ratings PG-13.
We'll still privately read the non-PG-13 ones.
I like how we say it as a joke, but honestly, we probably will.
No, I plan to. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I plan to read the not PG-13 ones.
Honestly, seriously. Yeah, and speaking of Fox Beauty Cosmetics, with our live stream this month, we've also got that promo that is just always running, which is at foxbeautycosmetics.com. The promo code is Stitch and Seam, all spelled out, to get 10% off your purchase of their all-vegan, not tested on animal products. Whew. So, I think that's all of our announcements.
Yeah, I think that's
V-Fire, would you like to introduce our guest this week?
Yes, we have a wonderful guest. So, as of this episode airing, it'll be a couple weekends ago, MiniCon happened at an awesome game shop called Game Haven, and I was like, it'd be really cool to have Denise come on and talk about MiniCon. So, Denise, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us about
Hello.
you.
Hi, Denise.
Yes. Hi. So I'm Denise, or Diz for short, I guess. And I've been working at Game Haven since 2014, and I do events there.
Nice.
Some
Nice.
awesome events there.
Yes, I think so, and I think even more. Sometimes I hope so.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, tell us a little bit about MiniCon. What is it?
So MiniCon did not start out as MiniCon. A few years ago, I should have been prepared with the dates here.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah,
This isn't like a strict history lesson, so
Right. Maybe in the future it will be very important and monumental.
Yes,
Ooh.
monumental importance on how MiniCon and Game Haven changed all of everything.
Yes. So MiniCon did not start out as MiniCon. It started out as a showcase for artists to sell their work. So sort of a like farmers market artist walk format. And that started out because my location, my Game Haven location, has a coffee shop inside. And there's some other cool coffee shops that are like nerdy in Salt Lake, like maybe only one or two more.
Mhm.
And one of them I really, really loved to frequent. And they had a system where every month they would swap out the art on the walls in one of their rooms, and it was all for sale.
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
And I kind of wanted to copy that, but every single wall in my building is covered in slat wall product or something else, so I didn't really have the space. And so I'm like, okay, well, what if once a month or once a quarter or something, I bring the artists in themselves, because then I don't have to sell their work on like commission.
Mhm.
I can just have them in the building, and we'll just kind of do like a casual artist alley sort of a thing. And I set it up, and it was called Artist Shop and Showcase.
Mhm.
And it had no panels, it had no events, it was just the artists. And I put it on a Sunday because I was trying to have more customers in on Sunday, thinking the event would attract customers. And it did okay. I kind of started to immediately rethink the whole thing, like, okay, so I can get the artists, but I have to bring the customers to the artists, because not a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to go drop $50 to $100 on art today. I'm going to go to this thing. I feel like it just kind of accidentally happens at things like conventions and stuff.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So then the next event was immediately retitled to MiniCon with naming help from, I worked with the team for PopCon. He helped me kind of come up with some ideas, as well as Level 1 Gamers. They helped me as well, and they helped me come up with the name MiniCon.
I've heard of PopCon. I haven't heard of the other one.
Level 1 Gamers is just she's an artist who does like mostly D&D themed work. She has
Nice.
actually an incredible brand. I would say comparable to like T-Turtle. It's pretty solid.
Oh,
Mm.
wow.
Nice.
So they kind of teamed up with me on the back end just to help with the ideas, and MiniCon was born. I also had Anime Bonsai help with the first MiniCon, just for like advertising and stuff like that. So it was a very small collaborative effort.
I like how you have so much support from like all these other like conventions and artists and other like places and whatnot, just like being like, yeah, do the thing, and they're like supporting you. It's
Yeah.
like cosplay
Yeah,
or not cosplay convention, just convention senpais. There we go.
It's, I don't know if it's active anymore, but for a minute there was like a Facebook group for like basically all of the convention owners in Utah except for the big one.
Mm.
Like
Mhm.
all of us were talking, even some of the semi bigger ones. Like we were all sharing volunteers and stuff like that. So
Oh, wow.
I think the convention circuit's pretty neat, because as long as your event's literally not on top of each other, there's almost no competition.
Mhm.
Right.
And so it can be all cooperation. Like, oh, here, you set up at my convention, you have a booth, hand out flyers to your convention, because yours is the next one in line, and in exchange, post my convention on your Facebook. And it's just a little lovely circle. So
no, I love that.
Yeah, now we have MiniCon. It's basically just a mini convention. It's a smaller size convention. It is not a convention for miniatures, unfortunately. It kind of sounds like it, but I try to focus the color scheme and branding to really look like this is just generic nerd stuff.
Gotcha.
So you guys do sell minis, right?
Yes, so we are a tabletop store. So I do have wargaming minis and I have RPG minis, but
and you guys
nice.
have done mini painting nights too, huh?
Yeah, that's just one of our like weekly roster events. We have
I've been doing a couple of those with some
stuff.
friends. It's super fun.
So before we get too much into the events, I actually wanted to ask, we kind of skipped over, but I want to hear about you, Denise. Tell us a little bit about yourself, because I know you used to cosplay and still do a little bit, and I'd love to hear how you made the jump from that to working with Game Haven.
So I'm not really doing either or. I am kind of trying to do both, but
that's great.
Cosplay is something I do 100% on the side. I started Game Haven 2014. I started cosplay 2015, and I don't think I would have had the courage to start my first cosplay if I was not working in such a nerd-centric workspace.
Oh, okay.
So kind of without one, the other would not exist. And after going to conventions, I would say I'm pretty critical, maybe even judgmental in my worldview. I'm always absorbing ideas. I'm looking at things and going, I love how this was run. I could incorporate that. Or when I was doing this as a cosplayer, I noticed this was good, or I noticed this was challenging, or this looked really bad. So like, I wouldn't do that. So I feel like they kind of go hand in hand. The cosplay giving me sort of the community, the support, and the ideas to have the courage to continue to push myself in my workplace. Because I did not start as an event planner at Game Haven. I started as a cashier, but we're so small that if anyone at our store is passionate about anything, if you work hard enough, you can kind of start doing whatever you want. And kind of doing things to improve the store. So now I plan events when I'm at work. And for one of the mini-cons, I even got to cosplay because I had enough staff to cover for me. So I could be at my own event cosplaying. So that was really fun.
That's wonderful.
Aww.
Love that. So with both cosplay and with your work with Game Haven, where can we find you online? Where can we see your work?
So me right now, I don't know. Right at this very moment, I am Disney Denise, Dizney, Denise, on Twitter and Instagram. But I might be changing my name because now that I've kind of stepped outside of my own self, I don't want to be tied to a brand name.
Right.
I want to be recognized as like, the businessy side. So that might change. But as far as all my projects go, you can find Game Haven online. If you're interested in our events, I do kind of put a lot of my stock into Game Haven Sandy. So Game Haven Sandy on Facebook is the name of that page. We have a Facebook for every store. The only other page that might advertise events that are pretty big is going to be Game Haven, which is just your Game Haven on Facebook. And then our Bountiful location is Game Haven Bountiful. But you can also find us on Instagram and Twitter. And Instagram is where I collected a lot of my advertising, at least for like anybody who wasn't RSVPing to a Facebook link. All of our info is on Instagram, and our Instagram and Twitter handles are Your Game Haven, like the Game Haven that belongs to you. So you can find us there. And then
YOUR for those who mix up their yours.
Yeah. But there's no
okay.
punctuation. No punctuation.
Yeah.
And then you can also find me, as of now, on my streaming page called Hey Babe, Let's Game,
Nice.
which is my gaming channel that I share with my fiance.
Oh,
So if you want to
fun.
see me game,
It's an awesome title.
thanks. I thought about it for a year before I started.
I wasn't
sat
even
on the
really
name.
in the relationship with him at the time.
So yeah, it took me a year to make a name and put it into Instagram. So imagine what I'll be doing a year from now after I've thought about something.
Hey.
Unstoppable.
Unstoppable Diz.
So, for those going to look at your cosplay page, your Disney Denise, what kind of content could they see? What kind of cosplays do you like to do? What would you say is your specialty?
So you won't see a lot. Well, it really depends on the time of year. If you'd like to join me around con season, you'll probably see me as Peach.
I was gonna
Princess
say, I
Peach.
recognize, like, your Peach is like, I think I judged your Peach.
Yeah, it's the one I
Yeah.
won.
Yeah.
I won first place
Awesome.
Yeah.
at Gaming Con for it. That was
Well,
amazing.
That's a
I
weird
can't
sentence.
enter
I think
it
I
anymore.
judged you.
Yes, you did.
In a good way. In a good way.
No, I love it. So I do Peach a lot. Unfortunately, it is. I've had it since 2015, and it was handmade. So she is up close. She's looking worse for wear, but
Oh, getting older.
I still take her out. I even made a new crown for her. So
That's wonderful.
Well
Yeah,
loved.
I love Peach. My feed is very pink if I can control it. But because of like circumstances and just time and money, sometimes I can't cosplay or get cosplay content even out there. So my page is very eclectic. You're also going to see just casual plus size fashion, tabletop, gaming, adventures with friends. If it's Halloween, I am witchy Diz, so I
Oh, fun.
basically cosplay like lots of different just witch looks all season long.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so it depends on when you join me. My newer one that I got quite a bit of attention for at a couple of conventions was the first cosplay I was able to get my fiance to do with me. And we are two characters from the indie game Hollow Knight. And we have
Oh.
Speaking my jam.
we have these humongous, like 20-pound mascot heads.
Wow.
So we get a ton of attention to those, and it's just extra special because I'm no longer the cosplayer and the handler. We are two cosplayers together,
Oh,
and
I love that.
yeah. So we are.
I can just hear David just geeking out.
For the next MiniCon, if I have to work, meaning I can't do any makeup for cosplay and stuff, I might bring them out because that's something I can cosplay without getting ready, which I love. I can just like
yeah.
pack up Hollow Knight, and if I can get it inside the building, I don't have to like get ready for it at all.
Mhm.
Nice.
So yeah, those are kind of my two big ones. I've done like a couple superheroes and stuff. That's about it.
Gotcha. So back to your event planning. Was MiniCon like the first event you put together, or you said you'd done like some other smaller things like to help promote artists in your area? Like what kind of got you started with that?
So before MiniCon, I was kind of not really doing much at Game Haven event planning wise. I was the outreach to get us into other conventions, like get us a booth for our storefront. But 2015. Okay, wow, that's the same year I started cosplaying Peach. So the first big events I started planning was Free Comic Book Day, actually, which gave me enough knowledge and tools to know what running an event at my store looked like particularly. to be able to start working on other things. So before MiniCon was even like a conception of a thought, I'd run a couple free comic book days at Gamehaven, and Free Comic Book Day, for those of you who don't know, is a annual celebration across the nation. So all stores can participate as long as you sell comics through the vendor who puts on this whole event. And for the community, it means you literally show up and there are free comics, and on top of that, whatever the store decides to do. So my first free comic book day after working at Gamehaven and knowing what it was, I asked my boss if I could do more than what we've done in the past. And I put on a cosplay contest. We had goodies, free treats. We put up backdrops and had tons of balloons.
Oh, that sounds so fun.
It was pretty tiny, but I actually got a lot of cosplayers. It was actually, I think, my biggest cosplay contest since. I haven't been able to top it.
Oh, wow.
Because nobody knew what we were, and so they didn't maybe know how small we were.
Gotcha.
But I was actually able to meet a ton of cosplayers that like I now follow to this day.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was kind of nice to, because again, I'd only cosplayed Peach at this point. And I went to like I go to almost every convention alone besides like maybe my fiance once I met him. But so I'd like known nobody. And so it was kind of fun to like stand in front of all these cosplay strangers and be like, all right, I'm hosting this event. And yeah, so we had a pretty good turnout. Yeah. And so from then I have now been running a massive free comic book day event every single year. And, that's like the only big thing my store has been able to get off the ground, besides the occasional international tabletop day, free RPG day, reopening ceremonies when we like open a new location, but that's about it. So
dang.
MiniCon and Free Comic Book Day are the big ones that you don't want to miss at my store.
Nice.
So obviously, like, these are a lot of work above and beyond, I'm sure, your usual, like, pay grade. Like, that, to put that much in, like, no, seriously, like, that's so much work. Yeah. But, like, what inspires you to keep going? What makes it worth it, putting in all that work?
Well, I do get to do it on the clock, so that's nice.
Hey. That is nice, actually.
Yeah, that helps.
I do all of it at the store. Just, with my email and a phone. But I think for me, just as a younger person, I had very different aspirations for myself. I was a theater kid, so I thought I was going to be a Broadway actor. But then that fizzled out, and I kind of fell onto my DECA FCLA background, and I was like, I'm going to be a businesswoman, and I'm gonna wear cute clothes, and I'm gonna get to be in a place that's like the office where we're like friends, and I'm gonna be Jan, but maybe with less boobs and less crazy. I'm gonna be the real career woman. And after working at Gamehaven, it was actually my first job out of high school. So I'm still here.
That's so cool. It means it's a good job, right?
Yeah, something about the career woman never left me, but Gamehaven is a pop and pop shop, basically. There is no corporate to work up. I am on a very close relationship basis with my boss. Like, there's no work climbing the corporate ladder, and I still have that fire in me that wants to do more. I want to be more than a cashier. Well, I'll always be a cashier. Like, we got to work the front. But something in me wants to be also more, even just the way I carry myself now that I've been at Gamehaven for 7 years. People ask me when I talk to them, they're like, do you own this place? And I'm like, oh no, I've just been here forever. So it's just that fire of like, okay, well, yeah, I'm a cashier, but because I just keep going and going and going, I'm actually a social media manager and an event coordinator and a cafe manager. So I kind of just like to do stuff, and it's never going to end.
Man, that's so awesome though, to like see like all these different skill sets that you have, and like even though you're not taking the path that like younger you wanted to take in life, you're doing something that's still making you happy, and you can tell you're happy because like I can hear it in your voice, I can hear it in like your passion for it, the way you were like even just walking around Game Haven at MiniCon. I was just like, she loves this.
That makes me feel good to be observed like that.
Sorry, I was not creeping, I promise.
No,
I was just trying to find you.
Very sweet.
No. I mean like the introspection. I appreciate that because I think it feels nice to be noticed.
Yeah.
So Denise, you mentioned bringing cosplay to your Free Comic Book Day event. How important do you think, or do you feel like it was to start including cosplay in these events? How has that helped you?
I've known from the start it's essential. The biggest thing is, I mean, like hold on, let me find the word. A cynical reason would be, more bodies in my store, more customers to buy stuff, but
Sure.
It's more of an ecosystem of, we want cosplayers there because they look great in photos. And I want cosplayers there because cosplayers might not know about us because they might not be in the tabletop world yet. And this is their chance to realize, oh, like I play D&D with my friends. They have D&D stuff here. Or that game looks cool. I'd like to try it. And having cosplayers in the store is also really nice for something like Free Comic Book Day specifically, where I get more families in the store than normal. Kids love to see them. Like just to be getting a free comic and to look over and see a superhero in my store. So there's all these things that I really want to have cosplayers in the store for because it just looks really good. And then as I have evolved and continue working these events, I've learned to get the cosplayers in the store, I do need to make this an event for the cosplayers, not just to have them standing here, but for them to have an enriched and fun experience for themselves as well. And it has turned my events into sort of a flat marketing kind of thing into a very flourished and exciting events that are a lot more than what they started out to be.
Oh, that's so cool.
I really love like small conventions and events like this that have the like the small contest, because like for those that are like aren't they don't have like the bravery and whatnot to go up into like a big contest, it gives them a chance to try something small first. Another thing I really like is that like big conventions, usually craftsmanship is like the main thing at in the cosplay contest, but smaller ones like this, it's, well, how well is it modified? And like, you went and thrifted all of this? What? Like it pulls into some things that I think sometimes gets forgotten in like big cosplay contest stuff. And so I love seeing like these other ones like get to showcase this other side of cosplay that some people don't think about all the time. So I want to say that it was really awesome, like being there at MiniCon and seeing all of these like creative types come in. And again, like people are like resourceful AF.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. So not to be like a bummer, but I do want to talk about like how the pandemic has kind of affected things for you, because I know last year you guys had to cancel the event, and like obviously this year I'm sure you had a lot of extra planning. And like, how was it coming back from a hiatus like that?
I was really nervous. I really did, as far as large events go, have to take a huge break. It was very weird at first. I felt like I was wasting my time and I wasn't being productive and I wasn't finding the solutions to, the problem of absent events. And it was like kind of weird at first. And then it was really nice for a minute because right before the pandemic, I had just got done with like having my store at Anime Bonsai. We just got done like getting connected with Board Game Expo, and I was getting the 2020 year curricular kind of up for us. And I was probably frantic. I think I was trying to do a lot all at once. And then it just all came crashing down, and it forced me to just kind of pause. And now I think it gave everybody a newfound excitement for anything and everything event-wise, even something as small as MiniCon. So it really put a surge back into the community. And I definitely feel like we all have this like fire under our butt that just we want to get out of our seats immediately.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, coming back from this long hiatus was a challenge, but I'm also curious, like, how different was planning for this year? Did you have like anything that hadn't come up before? Well, I'm sure you had a lot of challenges that hadn't come up before, but I would love to hear about them.
Yeah, and how you overcame them.
Yeah, specifically for MiniCon, I guess, it is the first event I ran this year, which is odd because it's very late in the year. And by now, I would have had spring MiniCon done. I would have had probably some sort of tabletop event done, and I would have had free comic book day done. So it was crazy. And I also I felt like I was one step behind in all of my planning. Normally by like a certain date up into the event, I've got this done and this done and that done. So I felt like I was tripping to the finish line for this. And because it'd been so long, I was terrified and I felt very rusty. But having a year to kind of breathe, I think it also gave me some time to think more. There have been times where, because I'm planning so many events at once, I've had like an artist slip through the crack and become very upset because they were left out on an event that they were promised they had a table at. Luckily, I have rectified that, and they've had a few tables at our events, and they've been lovely. Or forgotten about, like, you know, getting a certain thing into place. Or, for instance, I got cosplay judges last minute. It ended up being a really good thing, but I could have had nobody respond, and I could have, you know, it would have been really awkward. So I'm glad it didn't. But, like, the really biggest difference was I did have to budget security for the first time. Because we are on the cusp of safety here in Utah, particularly when it comes to our vaccination rate. And so I was like, this has to be masked. We're one of the bigger events out the gate in the cosplay community, at least. I know there's been like, you know, art walks at Gateway and this and that, but this was kind of the first thing in Utah to get back going. And I was not going to ruin it for everybody by getting somebody sick or like some cases coming after my event.
Yeah, you're like, I don't want to be in the news about this. Thank you.
Yeah. So that was the only difference. I had to budget security, which just literally meant I was paying somebody to stand at the door and hand out masks, because a lot of people got some pretty bad whiplash because it's like, oh, like, most places don't have this right now, and even you guys are pretty neutral on it just for right now. And it's like, yeah, but this is so different. And you guys definitely saw that there were times where it was pretty high attendance. So that was the biggest difference, was just getting everybody masked up. And I was very surprised at the compliance and the happiness overall. Like, nobody seemed
great.
grouchy. I was mostly worried about vendors. Like, I even put it in my little worksheet that I send out to all of them. They answered, like, if they wanted to, they could state if they were vaccinated, and then they had to read a terms of service that said our mask policy for the event. And I was very shocked I didn't have more vendors be like, no, you're stupid, I'm not coming.
I've noticed in that, at least the area that Game Haven is in, because I worked at a nearby elementary school and whatnot, and for the most part, everybody in this area is super nice about it. Like, nobody's really mean to each other about any of it, and like most people will be like, oh yeah, I'll put my mask on, you know, and they're just chill, and I love it.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my questions, is if you had any trouble with people being like belligerent about wearing, but I'm really pleased to hear that people were so compliant and willing to be safe about it. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was too. And that's why I hired security, because it is so much easier to catch them at the door and be like, oh, hey, sorry, real quick, just throw this on. Instead of they walk in and then somebody has to flag them down. They've already entered.
Right.
That's when the conflicts happen. And,
sure.
You know, luckily none. So I'm hoping that this is kind of a sign of what the rest of this year is going to look like for the rest of the conventions, where at least everyone's just so happy to be out that we're going to do what we can to keep it that way.
Definitely.
So going forward, do you have any advice for like other conventions or events that might be listening who are looking to start back up?
I think if it's like soon, I think they definitely have their own concerns about, like, there is a big debate of what requirements do we do? Do we like require vaccine cards? Do we require masks? Do we do an honor system?
I've seen a couple of those like conversations online, and boy, people get heated. So I do not envy the big events that like have like thousands of people coming to them. I do not envy their like decision-making process right now.
Right.
Oh, yeah. So I think it's just going to be for them making tough calls. I did have to make a tough call. I was going to have a mask mandate no matter what. And then my boss lifted our store-wide mask mandate a week before the event.
Oh, wow.
So like I said, my regulars had really bad whiplash, and I knew that they would. That's why I wanted to keep it up 1 week longer, but
oh, darn it.
I know, but everyone was still pretty good. It just meant we gave away way more masks than normal because no one had them.
Right.
But yeah, I think for outside of current circumstances, planning conventions or even large meetups is really difficult for almost everybody else who just is purely event planning, because they have one problem that I probably never will have, and that is space and renting space. MiniCon is able to be so inexpensive for the artists. Like the table fees are so entry level because I am not renting at an event center. I have space. I have square footage. And my one goal is to get people in the door. And so because I'm not charging customers, we're always going to be able to bring in attendees. Because I'm not charging artists that much, I'm always going to have a plethora of small artists, like almost knocking down the door to get in. Especially after this MiniCon, almost every single person was like, I need to be at the next one. So for
that's
all
good.
the other event planners out there, they have one skill that I don't know how to deal with, and that's finding space and then being able to put it into your budget. So
definitely,
you just got to get over that space hump. I know some of my event creators out there, that's kind of their biggest struggle. So if you want to team up, I'm always looking for things to just have at my store, and it does not cost money for the space.
Nice. So in speaking of future
ideas.
I was going to say, speaking of future events, what do you have coming up?
Right now that my brain can move past MiniCon, I am full force into planning Free Comic Book Day 2021.
Yay!
This year they postponed it. Normally, Free Comic Book Day is the first Saturday in May. However, they pushed it back, and I think that was perfect, because if it was in May, it would not be what it's going to be. So this year it's going to be Saturday, August 14th, and it's actually the 20th anniversary of Free Comic Book Day. So I think it's going to be really big. They're pushing really big free titles. And when I say free, It is absolutely free.
You're like, I'm not lying.
Yeah, the comics they print are specific free comic book day issues. So you're not going to walk into a store and like just go get any comic book. There is a huge selection of free exclusives for that day.
You guys are where I picked up my Horizon Zero Dawn comic.
Yep.
Nice.
I think they even did a free one.
Yep, they did. That's where I picked up. Yep, that's where I picked up the free one, and then got myself and my friend Kimi addicted to them. So
yeah. So this year they have some really fun other video game titles. They've been previewing them, so I think they're already all online. So if you want to look ahead and know what you want, just know that if it's a gold title, you will need to be the first customers in line for that store. Ooh. And it will have a ton, so it's not like if you don't show up when we open, you're screwed. But it does mean you need to be an early bird. And yeah, just depending on the store, some things are going to run out quick. So we're doing free comic book day. We're very excited for it. Saturday, August 14th, 2021.
You said celebrating the 20th anniversary, right?
Yeah, the 20th anniversary.
Awesome.
And we will be opening up at 10 o'clock. I think some other comic stores open at 11. So if you can, coordinate, come see us first, and then go to other shops and get more. There's like no limit on shop hopping. Yeah. I do encourage it. However, I also would say you want to stay at Game Haven for a hot minute because we are going to have tons of like other fun stuff going on. But we'll be a long-standing destination. But for sure, shop hop. Like that's how you get stuff. If you need to like get like 10 titles, you'll have to shop hop a little.
Nice.
Oh, nice. So, like, generally speaking, in the future, where would you like to see Game Haven expand to? Are there any event that you would say is like your dream event for a future project?
At my current location, I think the goal is to just be able to up my large events without diminishing returns, because my artists really want it. I have a document of all of my artists who have ever signed up for MiniCon, even if they didn't get a table, and they're the first ones to get contacted to try and get a table again. And I have so many. And I will never have the floor space to get every single one of them in for one event. So I would love to do like quarterly MiniCon, like for a year. As if I can do that without, the first one being good, and then the second one, it's like, I don't need to go. I'll skip on this one. There's one there's around the corner. So yeah. I would love to be able to do more because the artists are just wonderful and they really want these spots. And I really want to bring them the customers that we saw on this last MiniCon, because every definitely artist walked away happy. So
that's so good.
I think that's it. Just because we're like a very limited demographic in what we do. So I definitely wouldn't need to go like crazy, but I just want bigger and better free comic book days. And I want more opportunities to include sort of vendors, for like, large celebrations and stuff.
Absolutely.
And I'm like sitting here being super excited, like going, I want to go to all these. I want to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Denise, for sharing with us. One more time, like, where can people find out more information? Where can they like maybe follow for news on events?
Right now, I'm going to be posting about it on Instagram at Your Game Haven. It is just our store Instagram, so you'll get to see all of our cool like tabletop products and stuff when they first come out. And
nice.
You'd be surprised that there are like fun products that would pertain to many fans and like subculture. So don't think it's just like Monopoly and D&D dice. Like we've got tons of stuff that I think all fandoms can enjoy. And then as soon as I plan an event, like all of my flyers and marketing will go towards that, as well as Facebook, which is Game Haven Sandy on Facebook.
Nice. So we like to end our episodes with a cosplay horror story, especially ones from our visiting guests. Do you have one you'd like to share with us?
I have 2 tiny ones, I think. If I remember a really juicy one, I'll submit it to your
amazing
your horror thing.
But please do.
I have 2 small ones I think I can give you.
Yeah, please.
Quite a few years ago, there was this collaborative cosplay photo shoot that was going to have like a bunch of photographers and a bunch of cosplayers, and you were going to be able to be shot by different photographers and have like different kind of versions of your cosplay being photographed. And it was a little bit over an hour away from where I lived, and I went as Peach. Which, by the way, Peach is a nightmare to drive in.
To drive in, I bet.
No,
that's a horror story on its own.
Yes, every Peach convention I've done, if you've seen me in photos, I drove there. And yeah, that's an adventure in itself. But it was an hour or so away, and I was like 35 minutes out, and I had realized that I forgot my crown.
No.
And I was also bringing one of the photographers, so I couldn't just say, I'm not going, and go home.
Oh,
so
no.
That is like every cosplay nightmare I have ever had.
So now
Disappointed.
I am very like on it. And luckily that happened early in my cosplay career. So I have these awful photos of Peach without a crown. And they look so bad. I haven't posted any of them. So
that's so sad.
Yeah, so that was great. And then another little one, I tried out, I entered the Miss FearCon contest one year, which is like a cosplay contest horror pageant.
I've seen pictures from that, and it's just like, ooh, very,
I
very
love
cool.
Yes, so if you like cosplay, but you want to be a little bit more dark and Halloween-y, it's fantastic. And I did it one year. I went as sort of a personified witchy fairy type outfit version of Black Phillip from The Witch.
Oh, nice.
So it's basically like a goat girl. And they did the pre-photo shoot at Dead City Haunted House.
I remember these, yeah.
I can't do haunted houses, which is funny. I love horror movies. So this is a real cosplay horror story. I love horror movies. I can't get enough of them. It's probably the most pretentious thing I do is watch all the best and talk about the classics and the new wave of the worst, best horror movies. But I cannot do horror in real life. Not even like the Lagoon celebration.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That they do where they just have actors walking around.
Oh man. I have a
Can't
hilarious story of me at a haunted house, but I'll save it till you're done.
This might link up with that. It'll lead right into it. So
sweet.
I went inside, and we did the big group shot, and then we started kind of going off. There were 3 separate photo spots where you would go by yourself, and now you got to be photographed like in all your glory inside of these different environments.
Mm-hmm.
However, you had to take the regular paths that you would go in if you were just there as a patron. And they had all the lights off, besides like the lamps, the photo lights that were in each spot. And so I had, the worst part was from the white backdrop spot where it's like, open and stuff, into a like chainsaw science lab doctor's office kind of a thing, like with the cold table. They had the noises going.
Oh no.
They had some of the noises on.
Oh my goodness.
And again, the lights had to be off.
They're
so that
getting you in
the
the
sets
mood.
could be lit properly. And the hallway was really skinny. I had this huge headpiece and these high heels, so I felt very vulnerable on top of that. And my fiance was here with me for this. He was my handler. And I started, like, crying. I was like,
oh, no.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't get in there. I can't do it. And I was, like, crying. And he's like, come on, I'll go first. You can come through. And I was, like, inching forward to the point where the girl who was ahead of me, I was, like, basically on her butt. I was like, I need to get into the open room, at least behind a lens. And so in the photos, after the group photo, which luckily I had like my makeup, I had blood dripping down my eyes, but then I had streaks of tears going through those blood things. And I'm so lucky that the look needed to just be messy. I was like this, dirty, like bog witch kind of a look, but
you're like, these tears are real.
Yeah. So I, if you look at the photos, like any close-ups, there are streak marks. The far away photos turned out amazing. But yeah, I cried in the haunted house, and I was in a Miss Fear Con pageant. So it's kind of ironic.
You were the embodiment of fear.
You were.
Yes, I was literally terrified. I was the missest, most fear girl. But yeah, that was quite an adventure. If I ever do it again, I think I know now, because I think they still shoot it at Dead City.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Haunted house. But I still want to do it again.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We're all gluttons for punishment.
Right.
So the funny, like, horror, or what are they called?
House?
Haunted house. I was like, what is it? I was like, it's a horror house. It's not a horror house. It's a haunted house. Oh my gosh. Wow. My brain's working great today. Just real short, funny story. So when I go into haunted houses and when I get scared, I get giggly. And
that does not surprise me somehow.
No, it's like, I just start giggling and I can't control it. So it was my first time, like, going through, like, a full haunted house in, like, ages. Like, it was, like, my first year of college doing this. And so we go through the 3D maze one. So, you're wearing 3D glasses so that all the paintings on the walls look like they're kind of popping out a little bit more. All the scary clowns and the, like, hospital thing that they're doing all also have that paint on them, so they look a little extra weird. It's just like, this is great. I'm just, like, giggling already. And we get to this room where it's one of those spinning tunnels, and you have to walk across the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, I'm trying to walk across that bridge. My friends are with me, and they're just like, come on, Mercedes, just walk across. And I'm like, it's so funny, though. Like, it's spinning, and then this clown walks on the end of, like, the other, where we're trying to go, and he's standing there, and then he just starts turning, like, doing the thing where, like, you crouch on your feet and then come back up, and he was making a circle with his body, but the opposite way that the room was spinning, and I lost it.
No.
I could not get up. I was laughing so hard. Finally, one of my friends, like, slapped me on the back and was like, move, Mercedes. And I was like, okay. So I ran towards the clown, and the clown, like, jumps out of the way. And I go to the next room, and of course, the next room has slanted floors.
Oh, no.
So I went right into a wall. So.
Oh, my goodness. No. Ow.
Anyways, I don't think I've been to a haunted house since.
That's valid. For our listeners at home, if you would like to send us a horror story, you can, of course, do that in one of many ways. You can hit us up via email at cosplaystitchandseam@gmail.com, or
you can go to the website, cosplaystitchandseam.com, and fill out the googly Google form, or
go to our Facebook page, join our fantastic community, and send us your message there. Or if you're not a fan of Facebook, keep an eye out on our Facebook or our Twitter for an occasional link to our Discord page. It's a pretty awesome community where you can have instantaneous feedback, and some fantastic people have even been chatting while we've been recording, and it's hard not to be, like, super excited to hear what they're doing and whatnot. While you're on the internet, if you want to help us out, like I said at the top of the show, join our club where you tell your friends. That is a club that I have created. And welcome to the club if you've told a friend. If you haven't told a friend, you need to skip forward an extra, like, 10 seconds. Club members, welcome.
First rule about sharing club is don't talk about sharing club.
No, we have to
You
talk
talk
about sharing club,
You
Mercedes.
talk about the sharing part of it. I'm just kidding.
So after you've done sharing that, if you want to help us out with the algorithm, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, on Audible, on Podchaser, wherever they let you. We'll even give you a shout out on the show. Much like Sassy Gills Cosplay wrote us on our Facebook page. Thanks so much. I completely forgot this was even here. This podcast does an amazing job engaging a range of topics that all types of cosplayers can enjoy. Each podcast is interesting, and I love hearing the podcasters' unique perspective and experiences. Thank you for such a fun podcast. I'm excited to keep listening. Thank you, Sassy Gills.
Yay,
that was
thank you.
fantastic. If you have left us a review and we have not, please reach out to us so we can correct that. If you have a few extra bucks and you want to help out the show, we have a Ko-fi, Ko-fi/cosplay stitch, or we have a Patreon. Like I said, $3 gets you a shout out on the show. $5 gets you that and the Cosplay Chronicles. Some of the fantastic people we need to shout out this month is a brand new member, Cynics. Welcome, Cynics.
Yay!
Also, not to forget our amazing @Queer Eye Sci-Fi, Howlcause, Hot Riku, Ren Amira, Jazzy Kofed, Jaguar Quinn, Gloria Shu, Sudi, Stacy Pitt, Shock H, and Silver Deeds.
Many thanks.
Yay!
Mercedes, give us those deets on the Twitch stream.
Oh yes, Twitch stream. I was like, that's not what the community project is. I was like ready for that one this time. Okay, Twitch stream. Yes, join us on June 19th at 3 p.m. as we have Winter Fox join us with their awesome makeup, and we're gonna do makeup to, like, just fun times, gender bending, gender switching, gender whatever's makeup for
what
all.
even is gender?
What is it? It's gonna be so much fun. We're just gonna just go all out with it, and come join us, do some makeup along with us, share us your photos. Let's just make it a big fun thing. So join us then.
Yes. Don't forget to use Winter Fox's code on foxbeautycosmetics.com. Stitch and Seam will get you 10% off the all-vegan, not tested on animal products. And of course, our community project, as VFire mentioned, we are taking fanfic submissions until the end of June, and we will be reading those on the show. You can request a reader. Fics just have to be under 5,000 words and PG-13. And yeah, you can send those through the usual means, website, Facebook, or email or Discord, any of those.
Any of those will work just fine.
Yeah. Thanks as always to Macy Roberts for the use of her music, and David Jeffress for his amazing editing and everlasting patience. How are your podcasts going, David?
The ups and downs. Right off the top, Dungeons and Chill is going to be taking a bit of a break for all of our mental health. Some of us had to step away. There's no hard feelings or anything along those lines, but Dungeons and Chill is going to go through some changes in the next little while. So probably not going to be mentioning that one, but still go check out Dungeons and Dragons and all the awesome play stuff. If you enjoy my DMing here, you'll probably enjoy it on Dungeons and Chill. But yeah, just taking a break from that one. It's not over. Just taking a bit of a break.
Breaks are good. Breaks are
Mental
okay.
health is good. That's what we've been
Exactly.
talking about. So take care of yourselves.
Exactly. But if you enjoy comic books and you've enjoyed, kind of the idea of Free Comic Book Day, I have a comic book podcast called Comic Trades Monthly. Not only last episode did we talk to a Dave Baker and Nicole Gu for Everyone is Tulip, we also talked about Infidel by Pornsak Pichachot, who is a fantastic author and talking about horror stories, wrote this fantastic horror story, and it was really compelling, and it was really good. I highly recommend go checking it out. And speaking of horror stories, I also have The Last Voice. I wouldn't say it's horror. I'd say it's more of a thriller. At this point, there's zombies. It's not spoilers to say there's zombies. But go check it out and kind of watch the world unfold as you, as the audience member, are part of the world. He's talking to you, dear listener, to you. So go check out those podcasts for me, please.
Yay. Thanks, David. Yeah, I think that's everything. Thanks again, Denise.
Yeah, this has been a fun episode, so thank you so much.
It has been a fun episode. So, closing thought. Have you guys ever gone to a Fibonacci convention? Because
no.
it's always as big as the last two put together. Hey! Math joke. Bye, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.